From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
The toast is just toasting, the butter is buttering, and your $1,400 third stimulus checks could get a major update today. It's Saturday. And why is Saturday so critical for that $1,400 third stimulus check? Well, incredible great news overnight as viewers DM me and send me private messages that they have gotten alerts the stimulus checks are coming next week. I'll tell you what dates they're seeing and what the data shows about the delivery of the $1,400 third stimulus check, especially for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. Great news across the board. Meantime, more checks could be coming. A new bill introduced suggests that we should have stimulus checks until the end of the pandemic and beyond. How much further beyond? I'll have all those details as well. Elsewhere, there's incredible great news happening about the Vice President. The Vice President, a new video I will show you detailing where the pandemic's going and what stimulus needs to do. You'll see that video. New video from Dr. Fauci about the virus, and a surprising new video from the press secretary addressing forced stimulus. Incredible great news from your SSA administrator talking about the SSI and SSDI and the communications between him and Treasury. Meantime, great news about Amazon and Crypto Miami. It is a great morning. I'm so excited you're here. Let's get ready to rock and roll as Mornings LA starts right now. Saturday morning, and the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and the coffee's brewing. And guess what's also going to be here? Yes, those things. Those $1,400 third stimulus checks. Viewers overnight got alerts that said, congratulations, your stimulus checks are coming March 31st. What's going on? This is really exciting, great news, and these are viewers on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Veterans Benefits. These are exclusive details you're hearing only on this channel, and I told you Saturday was going to be one of those days. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss a single minute of what's happening today, and today is a big day. I'll tell you in a second why Saturday is a very big day. Also, like this video. Let's see if we can get 2,000-3,000 likes. If you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Boy, let's get right to the breaking details. Between last night and this morning, I received a series of private messages from viewers that have gotten alerts from their banks or their direct express cards or from the IRS tool saying that March 31st is the date in which they are getting a direct deposit of a $1,400 third stimulus check. In fact, I even asked some of the viewers, what do you mean? It shows pending status for a deposit next week? And they said yes. This is huge, great news. Why? Because the first wave of stimulus checks landed on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, a Wednesday. The second wave of stimulus checks landed on March 24th, also a Wednesday. Well, guess what day March 31st is? It's exactly 1 week after March 24th. If you were with me on Friday, and Thursday, you saw what's going on. The third wave of stimulus checks to 30 million plus Americans, especially those on SSI and SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits, has started, has gone out. The third wave of stimulus checks has occurred. It has gone out. But we have waited for clarification of when it's going to land. Ultimately, you and I know how it works. Last Friday, the second wave of stimulus checks to land on March 24th went out, and on Monday, the following Monday, this last Monday, Treasury issued a statement confirming the second wave went out. The official statement from Treasury as to whether this third wave went out yesterday would likely come this coming Monday. But guess what? There's a way that you and I can know ahead of time, and that's you and me. Yes, this is incredible, great news. Last Saturday, this channel saw not one, not two, not three, but four indications suggesting that stimulus checks were landing this March 24th, before Treasury even announced it and confirmed this channel's exclusive reporting. How did we see it last Saturday, a week ago today? One viewer got a message from Chase that said a big drop was happening on March 24th. A second viewer got a big alert from Wells that a big drop of stimulus checks were happening on March 24th. A third viewer, and not just one, but several, a couple dozen, got alerts from Direct Express Card a week ago today that said, hello, March 24th, this coming Wednesday, you're getting a direct deposit. That happened, that alert that they got happened a week ago today. And finally, people got alerts on their bank accounts a week ago today that deposits were happening on March 24th. And finally, the big one. Last weekend, in the middle of Saturday, the IRS.gov tool updated itself for thousands of viewers of this channel to now say that deposits were happening on March 24th or in the mail. Now, what is happening today? We're starting to see the same thing. This is huge, great news. The huge, great news is that viewers are seeing updates to the IRS.gov tool where the date is now changed and it's indicating next week, or they're getting alerts from their bank that says, guess what, a deposit's pending. Now, you may be sitting back and saying, wait a second, I've never heard anything like this, and it's not like what you've reported before. It's slightly different. It is slightly different. Let me explain. When a bank receives a deposit, they don't show it pending for 5 days. No one has ever heard of something like that. It's very unusual. So yes, this is totally new for today. So what's going on? You know the answer. They got the deposit yesterday, the banks, but they can't release the funds because the effective date of the deposit is the 31st. Viewers have sent me DMs of direct deposits pending that says, hi, $1,400 pending March 31st. But we can't release it until March 31st. So why is it pending for 4 days? Not to clear, not because they think the money's not going to clear, because the effective date is March 31st. This is huge, great news. Now, if you're watching this video, and trust me, I got a lot more coming up in this video, a lot more to stay with me to the very end. I have details about why the tool may change today for you, why you may show no results on the tool yet, and why that's going to change, what you'd expect from your individual banks, and more. I'll have all those details coming up in this video. This is a jam-packed video. Trust me, I've been preparing for this one all morning and the early mornings today to get ready for this one. If you have been on the tool, or you've been on your bank, or you have been on your card and it doesn't show anything pending, don't worry, because this is where things will change. First, most banks under the first and second wave just made the deposit appear. They didn't give you a prior alert. It just appeared. Second, if you show an alert that says the check is in the mail, and it says the 26th, and we're now on the 27th, and you have not seen that check in the mail, well, guess what? That's good news as well. I'll explain to you where that check is going to be in just a second. Ultimately, there's a lot of things happening, and the wave has started. We can confirm that the third wave of 30 million plus checks have gone out. Why? Because we have the official statement. The official statement was released by the commissioner, the administrator of Social Security, between Thursday and Friday morning. That statement is here. And who is that commissioner? It's this guy. He issued a statement Thursday and Friday. Let's recap. He delivered the papers to IRS on Thursday morning at 8:30. This is huge, because they had the funds the information by Thursday morning to send the payments out on Friday for viewers to get the alerts overnight. Yes, you see how this is happening. And this was his comment between Thursday and Friday morning. Let's read the sentence together. Once we were free to move forward, we aggressively worked with Treasury and IRS to issue payments. That sentence has three verbs in it, and all three verbs are past tense. We were free, we worked, and we issue payments. He issued the payments on Friday by all indications of that sentence. So as we sit here now, it's very, very clear. The third wave of stimulus checks have gone out. The big question is when? When am I going to get the stimulus check? 30 million stimulus checks were identified by Treasury and Social Security, SSI and SSDI that were unpaid that need to get paid. Now, you and I know it's more than 30 million. You and I know it includes people beyond SSI and SSDI. But the great news is that the stimulus checks have gone out in this third wave, and we need to identify when they're landing. And guess what? This video is going to tell you when they're landing. Stay with me to the very end. I'm going to explain to you how you can tell where it is, when it is, and how it's coming. More about that in a second. But let me explain why the situation is very positive right now. While this letter particularly did not identify the situation correctly and may have underestimated the situation, one of two letters from Representative Neal early in the week, the letter certainly put in place the narrative, because what happened is it became front page news. 30 million people are unpaid, said broadcast news. Over and over and over, broadcast news heard it. They saw the tweets from the elected officials saying people are unpaid. Bottom line is, we have the great news that the broadcast news ran it as a front page news story. People were unpaid. And guess what? The payments have gone out. Yes, at least 30 million payments for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits have gone out, says that statement from Saul. So the question is, when are they landing? How can you track when they're landing? What are the means in which we as a family can figure out when they're going to land? I have all those details coming up in a second. Stay with me. More about that and more about how to look at your particular account. But overnight, the vice president spoke to the American people about how stimulus is needed to ensure that families survive this pandemic. Let's listen in quickly to the short video.
And this was the intentional purpose of the American Rescue Plan, which was to look at childcare, to look at our childcare workers, to look at our children, to bring them out of poverty, and to do what has long been overlooked, which is to understand that, you know, our children, we cannot in public policy subordinate them as, you know, as because I guess they're little people, little problems. And instead understand, again, if you just want to go to what our friends in the private sector, how they judge themselves, what is the return on the investment? You invest in our children, you're going to get a huge return on the investment.
Also making news overnight was this. Not covered in front page news because there was so much happening about third stimulus checks, was this representative. And if you're a member of this channel or a subscriber, you saw the details. If you're a member, you actually got the PDF. This end of last week, a new bill was introduced. It's a bill. It's not a proposal. It's not a piece of thing on a napkin. It's actually a bill. The bill provides for reoccurring stimulus checks. Yes, reoccurring stimulus checks. Let's go over what the bill, which is called the ABC Act from Tali and Jalapal, introduced to the House at the end of last week, says. The bill provides for the immediate $2,000 payment to all viewers of this channel. And then that's $2,000 for the first month, and then $1,000 per month thereafter. Now, what's huge and surprising details about this bill is not so much the reoccurring nature, but when the bill proposes to end. You know, last year when I was talking about reoccurring stimulus checks, I said, well, to the end of the pandemic. And we all had a problem figuring out when was the end of the pandemic. Last year, we were saying maybe May, earlier in January. This year, we're saying maybe it's May, maybe now it's September. But this bill is a little bit different. It says that we will pay checks a year after the pandemic's over. So let's say the pandemic ends in September, it would continue to pay a check $1,000 a month until a year after the pandemic's over. Now, understand, this is a standalone bill. This is not what the representatives from the House and the Senate that Democrats have proposed. They have separately written two letters to the president under four stimulus saying, you know what? next week, which is this coming week, you're going to be introduced in the fourth stimulus package. And we're not going to support it unless there is a reoccurring monthly check until the end of the pandemic, not a year after the pandemic. But what I love about this is that it makes stimulus checks front page news. You know, if you've been with this channel for a while, whether it was CRO for stimulus or seats for stimulus, every time that someone talks about the importance of a stimulus check, it helps. While I don't believe you're ever going to get a stimulus check into 2022, a year and a half after the pandemic's over, I love the push, and God bless her for absolutely taking the effort to write a standalone bill to keep this message front page news. But now, how about that $1,400 third stimulus check? Yes. Still coming up in this recording, I'm going to explain to you why today will be singularly the most important information today to know what day the stimulus check is going to land. Is it going to land on March 31st? What about people who have that March 26th mail date that has now passed and you haven't gotten the stimulus check? Why is that great news? And why is your tool likely to update itself and give new information today? And what about the transcript tool? Meantime, new video from the White House talking about stimulus checks. I have all this great detail. Stay with me. I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues all morning long as I will be jumping into the live chat in the next video coming up right after this in about 15 minutes. But boy, coming up in the second half of this video, big details about how you can know when your stimulus check's going to land. How are you? Good morning. Are you having a great day? If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video and say hi, say hello to the people that are in the chat with you. Interact with one another because they're the people that are going to help you get to the finish line because they have the information. This is the breaking details, which you're hearing only on this channel this morning. Here we go. Number one, $1,400 third stimulus checks were sent out in the second wave on Friday. We confirmed that from viewers of this channel who now show deposits pending March 31st. This is exclusive details you're hearing only from this channel. You're also hearing them in official statement from Administrator Saw, head of SSA. Number two, when would we know, when are the deposits going to land? When are the direct deposits going to land? Well, in the case of some viewers so far, and the day is early, they have now gotten alerts from their banks, from Direct Express, and or from the IRS tool, or both, that says the direct deposit's happening March 31st. This is very important because guess what? March 31st is exactly 1 week after the second stimulus wave. Let's look at the calendar. The first wave of stimulus checks landed on the 17th. The second wave landed on the 24th. Guess what the 31st is? Exactly another Wednesday. These are all Wednesdays. The 17th was a Wednesday, the 24th was a Wednesday, and the 31st is a Wednesday. In all two prior occasions, the stimulus checks went out on Fridays. They went out the Friday before the 17th, the Friday before the 24th, and now we see that the stimulus checks went out the Friday before the 31st. So what about you? What's important to know is that if you do not show anything pending, guess what? It's going to change. It's going to change. This is what's been happening for viewers that have been sending me private messages. They said, oh my God, LA, you are right. You said keep on watching, and it did change. Whether it was direct deposit of their account or the IRS tool, it changed. Here's the big surprise. Last Saturday, in the middle of Saturday, was the big time in which the IRS.gov tool changed. It changed from no information to then saying March 24th by direct deposit or by mail March 26th. Or it changed last Saturday from March 17th direct deposit to March 24th direct deposit. Ultimately, I've been telling you since yesterday, since Friday, that today's recordings are the most important recordings you will see to learn what day the stimulus checks will land for you. So please stay throughout the day with me, because this is going to be a big day with big news. Meantime, what if the IRS tool currently shows a date, and the date has passed and you haven't gotten that stimulus check? Here's what's happening. It's all great news. First, if the tool says March 24th and you didn't get it a direct deposit and you didn't get it by direct deposit, don't worry, because it's going to get changed. That's what happened on the first stimulus packet, the first wave. On the first wave, people had a direct deposit date of the 17th, and some didn't get it on the 17th. But then it changed, and they got an alert it's coming on the 24th. Those included people on Direct Express. They got that alert that said, guess what? It's coming on your Direct Express card. Some got alert and some didn't get alert. And some, the money just appeared. This was the type of alert that people got a week ago today from Direct Express card saying, congratulations, it's coming on the 24th. Now, what's important to understand is that last Wednesday, the 24th, people saw deposits appear on the 24th with no prior warning and no indication otherwise. But others did when the IRS tool switched from the 17th to the 24th. Last Wednesday, people on SSI and SSDI got direct deposits from PNC, Wells, Arvest, US Bank, Chase, Direct Express, Green Dot, Citizens Bank, Bank America, HR Bank, H&R, Regions Bank, and also TD Bank. Now, what happens if you go to the IRS.gov tool and it shows a date for a mail check and you've yet to receive the mail check? I have those details as well. Yes, and this is also incredible great news. Don't fret, it's actually positive news. More about that in a second. Meantime, overnight, Dr. Fauci and Dr. Walensky were asked about the growing concern of the variants of the virus. Let me tune into that video and show you what they said about this growing concern about B117.
Manufacturers are going to hit their Q1 targets. Are you having any hiccups there, or are things looking good? And Dr. Fauci or Dr. Walensky, I'm wondering also if you can give us an update on the variants, in particular how widely spread that B117 is in the U.S. Thank you.
All right, let's go in reverse order. Drs. Walensky, Fauci, do you want to talk about the variants?
We continue to scale up our surveillance of the variants. The B117 has now been detected in 51 jurisdictions, over 8,000 cases. We're watching it very closely. It is, our percent of those of the variants is a little bit lagging behind our data because it takes a while to do the sequences and to sequence the variants and do that population-based analysis. But yes, we're worried about the increase.
Yeah, the issue is the dynamics of the increase are telling us that it was going to continue to be a greater proportion, because if you look from week to week, 117 becomes more of a percentage. And as the percentage goes up, that's a reflection that it has the capability to become dominant.
Meantime, let's go back to that $1,400 third stimulus check. And when you have an alert on irs.gov that it's being mailed, but you didn't get it, thousands of viewers, tens of thousands of viewers over the last few days, on days in which this channel's been doing 500,000 to 1 million views, have been getting alerts that says 27th for a stimulus check that was for the 26th. What's going on? What's going on is that the stimulus checks have been landing on the 27th for some viewers that were dated the 26th. So don't fret. If you have an effective date in the irs.gov tool that shows a mailed check and you haven't gotten it, I have seen some great news from a lot of viewers where the checks are coming late. Also, this is sort of obvious, but I want to hit this point home really hard. If the IRS tool has any date for you of any sort, it's always great news because they know where you are, they know they're supposed to send you a stimulus check, and they just have not gotten it to you, and they got even the amount right. So ultimately, what I want you to understand is do not fret if you see a date and the date passes and you haven't got to the check. They're fixing something. Remember, there's several ways you can use the IRS website. One is the tool. Second is the transcript. We had that standalone video from last Wednesday, I think it was on the channel. Transcripts in the title of the video, where I explain how to use the transcript tool. And then I've also been dealing with the USPS Informed Delivery app, which is a free app or a free website you can go to track the mailed check. More about what, however, is going to be happening this next Wednesday. It's all real incredible, exciting news. But in addition to that statement from that standalone bill, which we saw at the end of last week, there was a new series of questions proffered yesterday to the press secretary about the fourth stimulus. Now, let's understand, the fourth stimulus package from the president will be introduced next week. It will be a proposal. It won't be a finalized bill. So the bill is going to get a lot of movement left and right and get modified. But in a new video posted to the White House's website, YouTube channel, it shows 250 positives and 850 negatives. Why were they negatives? Perhaps it's this response when asked, is the fourth stimulus going to be paid with raising taxes? Let's listen.
Member, a mother, a father, and a different kind of adult, right? So there are steps that we're taking to try to expedite even the processing. So our focus is on actions and solutions. We certainly know this is a challenge. It's something he is briefed on regularly and is pushing his team to take more rapid action. Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you, Jeff. The President has said he wants bipartisan support, I think, for infrastructure package as well. Mm-hmm. Is that possible when Republicans are pretty adamant they don't want tax increases? In other words, how can you achieve bipartisan support for infrastructure if Republicans are drawing a hard line on taxes?
Well, first I would say, Peter, that I don't think most Republicans think that the United States, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, should be 13th in the world as it relates to infrastructure. You know, roads that are broken down, infrastructure that isn't working, a lack of access to broadband, that's not a Democratic issue. And the president is going to continue to make that case. Now, we don't know what the votes will be. We haven't proposed a package yet. And certainly what it will be tied to and the pay-fors will be a part of that discussion. But he certainly believes there's been a history of support for investing in infrastructure. He has had bipartisan meetings in the White House. He's worked with Democrats and Republicans on getting legislation getting steps taken in the past, and he's hopeful that that there's an agreement on that moving forward.
Here's a series of comments about her remarks and perhaps why the video got 800 negatives and only 200 positives. First, she's absolutely right that infrastructure is a bipartisan concept. Republicans and Democrats both like it. Second, her claim that the president has worked bipartisan to get stimulus out the door is actually untrue. The third stimulus check that you're waiting for got no bipartisan support of any Republican. Third, her contention that the president has not heard from his Democratic colleagues whether they support his idea to raise taxes or not is actually untrue. Democrats have come out in very, very clear words, said the following. There are three actual fractions of the Democrats, and one of them says, no, we're not going to support any infrastructure bill unless it pays for itself. Pays for itself is things like government bonds or things like that. They don't want to take money out of the government to pay for the infrastructure bill. Number two, there are other Democrats that say we're not going to support the bill if you don't get Republicans in favor of the bill. And number three, there's a lot of Democrats that say we're not going to support the bill if you raise taxes. Let's understand, the taxes the president wants to raise are not just taxes on wealthy people. The president has proposed raising the corporate tax Now, a lot of viewers of this channel have LLCs or corporations, and they're small business operations, husband and wife, and they make, $30,000 a year, and they run a trucking business. This is that person. This is a middle-class operator. It also is seeking to increase the inheritance tax. Everyone has a parent or a grandparent that dies, and when they die, you have to pay taxes. He's looking to increase that tax rate as well. So you see how the president's going to have to deal with a lot of questions about how he's going to fund the bill if there is resistance from the Democrats. Meantime, let me cut back to that $1,400 third stimulus check. If you have not seen it land or in your mailbox, not seen it appear in your direct deposit account, not gotten an alert from your direct deposit account, or not seen anything else, what should you think? Number one, don't worry, because the collective voice of this channel is the best indicator of what's going to happen. What are we seeing? Number one, we're seeing people get alerts that March 31st is going to be another drop of stimulus checks. Number two, this includes people on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits, so it likely would include you potentially as well. Number three, this includes people on Direct Express card. Number four, Treasury is the single most important indicator of where stimulus is landing. It's been sad, but it's been true, that along the way, several banks, several direct deposit account corporations have kept up voicemail, have kept posted voicemail recordings and website pages that are not updated, that were written on March 14th and March 15th. That was after the first wave and before the second wave. The official statement from Treasury that we still have on the books was last Monday, which was if you don't get it by direct deposit, it's in the mail. So understand that the single most up-to-date information is you and Treasury. Treasury will update us on Monday, likely, with the indication of whether a third wave of stimulus checks did go out on Friday, if it is 30 million Americans on SSI and SSDI, and when those deposits would likely land. But before they update us, you, the viewers, will be the single most important voice to understand when and where they're landing. Already that voice has spoken, with viewers indicating to me in private messages they see alerts coming in from their bank March 31st. March 31st. I also see people saying the IRS tool has started to change itself today. It is now switching to March 31st. We will also see if other changes to the tools will also happen, where the mail check will switch to a different date, where the IRS tool switch from no information to information as well. Together as a family, we'll get through this together and get to the finish line. Thank you for joining me on a big morning's broadcast. I continue with Mornings at LALATE right after this in 5 minutes, in which I continue the latest developing details, especially for those on SSI and SSDI. I'll be answering your questions directly in the live chat and be jumping in there. Make sure you tune in. That's coming up right after this video. If you've not become a member, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single recording across the day. Also like this video. Say hello to your fellow friends in the chat. Be interactive. Communicate with one another, because ultimately everyone sees other one's messages. I didn't get it from this. I did get it from that. Share both positive news and also update news. What did you get? What did you not get? What did your friend get? What did your friend not get? The more information we share with each other, the more we see as a family, and the more informed we are to get to the finish line. With that, stay informed, stay toasted. Did I say toasted? Stay buttering, stay toasted, stay baconing. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, and stay of LA for more.